What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle, and today we're going to do a tier list for Darkest Dungeon 2. We're going to be taking a look at the heroes, and this time we're doing it live. We got Twitch chat in the background hanging out with us. And before we started recording this, we talked about it, looked at the moves, and had ourselves a nice hour-long discussion. So strap yourselves in for this video. And before we get started, if you enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Make sure to check out the box for all the cool links like Discord, Twitter, Twitch, and Patreon. Gotta plug the stuff. Thank you. All right, so for this video, we're going to set it up so we have 5 tiers. This one should not be this tier. This should be sad tier. And then we're gonna try and have 2 characters in each tier, except for like the bottom, and you're gonna find out why pretty quickly. And then also in the maybe A tier, we're gonna have 3. So, like I said, we talked about it. Tried to find out what we were thinking, who should go where, and we're just gonna start left to right here with the characters, and then we'll talk to chat that you can see on screen, at various points. So, with Grave Robber, this is the worst character in the game. I made a video on this talking about why Grave Robber is in fact not a good character. And if you want to go to the, let's see, the game, because we have the game in the background. So, with Grave Robber, this is basically a 3-button character. You have darts, which is okay. It's like barely like passable compared to like Noxious Blast and stuff like that. Absinthe is very good. Dead of Night is probably the best move that she has. Pick to the Face is okay, but she has a lot of weird moves that just don't seem that strong. Like Thrown Dagger is okay. Like you get a lot of crit, which is nice. Flashing can ping off 2 tokens, which is okay. Glint in the Dark just takes way too much setup. It's much better to just hit the enemy repeatedly, like with a bigger damage move, and try and do damage over time. Lunge Plus is bad. Like it gets a lot of crit, which is okay. But when you upgrade this, it's still at 4 damage. So 4 to 11 damage is bad. I was gonna say trash. I'm trying to be nice when I talk about these things, but it's not that good. So the fact that you spend a mastery point on something that can do 4 damage, like as a damage move, just isn't good. Shadow Fade's the worst skill in the entire game, just straight up. You go into stealth and you give yourself speed, and it's like, why do I want to give myself speed to go first when I'm in stealth? So I just kind of like waste the next turn without really getting a lot of value out of my stealth. Repartee takes too much to get working. Pirouettes has some okay uses. You get some damage, you get to move around, you get to go back and set up lunge. So you get like the lunge pirouette combo, but you have to do something in between. So you like lunge and then pirouette and then like poison darts and then lunge again, and then pirouette's gonna be back up. But the reason I don't really like this move too much is because this loses to size 2 enemies and enemies with block. So it needs something else. I'm not quite sure what that something else is. Maybe it loses the daze. Maybe it has more crit. I don't know, but it's okay overall. And I kind of like roll lunge and pirouette together in terms of damage. So I feel like I'm just doing like, 8 to 19 over 2 turns, which not the best. But because of that, we're gonna put her at the bottom with her own tier, which is the sad face tier, because Grave Robber is my favorite character in the game. Is there anything from chat? It might be. Anti-OnlyFans? Okay, I tab in to see that. Me and tier list hanging out with Chef. Oh, you're reading the title? Alright. Alright, you jokers. So, Hellion... I think Hellion's gonna go into S. For right now. I don't think Hellion's gonna stay S. And we'll go back to checking out the game here. But with Hellion, she is pretty hard to kill. She has 2 self-healing moves in Adrenaline Rush and Revelry. These are both pretty good. Iron Swan and Wicked Hack both got upgraded or buffed just slightly in the recent patch. They have a little more damage on top and extra effects. Iron Swan gives you combo, which is pretty cool. And this has a pretty big healing debuff attached to it. And really the reason this character is an S is because of 2 moves. It's Toe-to-Toe and it's Howling End. These moves are why you take this character right now. And actually kind of the fact that she doesn't die. So we're all going to look at Howling End in terms of why this character is very strong, because she just ignores blocks. She can do it on turn 1. She can just nuke something. And that is very, 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 very good. The move that holds this character together is Toe-to-Toe. when you upgrade this and you can clear Winded, it doesn't really matter the detrimental effects that come from everything else in the kit, like Bleed Out, Revelry, Howling End. It all gets fixed by Toe to Toe. Toe to Toe also sets off her passive, so Hellion gets bonus damage the lower her HP gets, so you get to taunt yourself and set that up. And then also you enable your self-healing moves, which she has 2 of them. So you can sit there, do damage, which checks Death Blow, which gets rid of Blind, it gets rid of Weaken on you, which is fantastic, it gets rid of enemy tokens. It also clears your Winded, and it lets you use all your other really cool skills again at full effectiveness. So, like I've been saying, as good as Howling End is, which this probably will get nerfed at some point, this character is held together by this move right now. I don't know how you would nerf this to make it so that it's not as necessary as it is. I don't even know if you need to nerf Toe to Toe, the more I think about it, but it's honestly, it's pretty good. So, the other move is Breakthrough, just doesn't do enough damage. This is why I was saying this character is just going to plummet if you nerf Howling End, because she has like average damage on these 2. Yop's okay. If it bleeds is bad. Bloodlust is there until you get Toe to Toe upgraded. Breakthrough sucks. Bleed Out's actually pretty good. So you have like a few different usable buttons, but this character is just kind of like taunt, get low HP, and then do damage. So she's still pretty good. I would definitely say she's S right now. Gonna put a black box over the chat in this video? No. Better get that 4 to 8 damage. And before I'm only recording audio? No. Oh, you know what I was supposed to do is I was supposed to hit record on my end here, so I didn't have to like do the export thing from you or from Twitch, but whatever. That's fine. Yeah, Bleed Out's really good. Why are you like this? Because you're Twitch chat? We'll see. People may not like it. I'll tell you, I can't do this again. It'll be your fault. Alright, so with who's next? Highwayman. This character, for the most part, we are kind of in consensus by putting him in A. And so with Highwayman, he's a very solid damage dealer, just top to bottom, and he has utility this time, which he didn't have utility in the first game. And he also sets himself up to be a better damage dealer this time around because of Take Aim. So as far as the moves go, Wicked Slice is okay. Like these Wicked Slice and Pistol Shot are pretty average overall in terms of damage output, but they're good enough for a character that can generate crit and stuff like that. Dual Savance is pretty good. Upgraded, you get the Repose token and dodge. It's a giant Highwayman copy pasta. Thank you, Omni, for the sub. Thank you for the 3 months. Yes, much appreciated. This is a community I made. I gotta live with it. I love my community. I love all of you except that one person. But with the rest of Highwayman's kit, you have Tracking Shot. This move doesn't do damage. It's kind of like the big weakness, but being able to block dodge is actually a nice change. It's a range move that you can use from rank 1, which is very strange too. Take Aim. This is a very, very strong button. I've gotten into I don't want to say like arguments, but definitely like a couple disagreements over how good this move is. If I make a legitimate argument on why Highwayman is an S tier, or why he is S tier. Okay, it gets memed out of legitimate argument. No, I read it before. I'll address it when I'm done here with this part here. But Take Aim is a really strong move because it guarantees crit. So being able to remove variance is always very strong in Darkest Dungeon. So being able to guarantee crit means you remove your damage range and you just roll max damage, which is very good. And now that they've changed it so crit can stress heal, that is also pretty good. If crits were more consistent at stress healing your teammates, I think I could put them a bit higher. But this helps you get rid of blind, which is a pretty common token, not just from the enemies, mostly the sprawl enemies. But the reason removing blind is very good is because there are a lot of quirks that give you blind. You know, you have cherubs that blind you, but also like the yips and misses the spot and stuff like that. There are other ways to get blind in the game, so being able to get rid of blind is really good. And then you give yourself a defensive measure and then 1 to 2 crit tokens on top of it. Plus being able to spend the 1 turn to, I don't want to say stall, but like set up, means that your teammates can help get rid of enemy defensive tokens, which makes the crit much better too. Point Blank is pretty solid for damage. Grape Shot feels kind of underwhelming. Open Vein is just worse than Incision, which is a bit strange. Double Tap is a good boss killer. Highway Robbery is probably the future of this character. So when more and more enemies get introduced, and depending on like their, you know, token combinations, we could see some nasty token combos out there from enemies in the future, and Highwayman just gets rid of it. I don't think this addresses guard. I think that's like the one thing this loses to. And it's a range move that doesn't hit rank 4, which is very strange. I wish this did hit rank 4. But other than that, it's actually pretty freaking good. Chat wanted to take a breather? I hope so. And then we have Double Cross. This move is a good move. It just feels like it's on the wrong character. So when I'm trying to evaluate like how strong characters are, I try to look at like all of their buttons and how good their buttons are like in their entirety. I know that kind of goes out the window with Hellion because she has like 2 good buttons, and actually no, Hellion's got some good buttons, right? She's got the heals, Hellion, toe to toe, those are all really good. Bleed out's good. She only has like 2 that are kind of bad, but outside of that, with Hellion and toe to toe existing, it kind of like eclipses all the other negatives. Highwayman has like a few buttons he wants every time. He wants like take aim and highway robbery, and then like duelist advance, and then you kind of like build around that for the most part. I just think about Hellion again. But yeah, I think A's fair. And like the reason I'm also gonna leave him in A is because he does do some pretty solid damage, and he can get crit, which guarantees his damage and stuff like that. But he has no way to like super ramp his damage. Like the other big damage dealers have like access to huge damage. Highwayman's just very consistent damage. It's consistent, like above average damage. But Hellion can get like massive damage from Hellion. Jester can get massive damage from Finale. Burning Stars is massive damage. Leper can use Ruin or Revenge and stuff like that and get massive damage. Highwayman's just going to consistently do like 12 to 20, which is very good. But it's not like monstrous damage that's out there. Twitch gang, what's up? Alright, so I feel bad because Loki wants in, but I'm not going to get up and let Loki in this room while I'm recording a video, so he's going to have to sit out there and suffer. Jester is our other S tier character. Oops. I forgot to show us. Yeah, so we're putting Jester in S. And the reason Jester is in S is because this character is absolutely insane. Unpopular opinion, but Loki content, shuffle content. I do love Loki. So Jester has a lot of insane stuff happening, but it really comes down to Fade to Black and Encore being as good as they are. That kind of is what the character needs. But there's no real bad button on this character, and this is a character that gets better. That's like the better you get at the game, the better this character becomes. And I don't think anyone else really amplifies that to this magnitude compared to Jester. So you have Razor's Wit to give you some kind of defensive stuff, which is nice. The extra dodge does help. Like being able to move out of rank 4 and do damage and dodge and check deathblow and stuff like that is very good. Fade to Black is fantastic. This move is great. Upgraded, sets combo. Amazing. So does this, by the way. This sets combo too. Slice Off is pretty solid. It's pretty much Incision, just different targeting. Battle Balance is good too. The upgrade's okay, which is a bit better, but to fix your team, this is very helpful. Inspiring Tune is the best stress heal in the game. Harvest is insane this time around. Being able to ping off multiple tokens on, or I should say tokens on multiple enemies and then bleed them and have a chance to kill them, you know, through death blow or, you know, after the fact is very good. Finale is also very strong. I shouldn't say very strong. It's good. It's not very strong, but Finale needs some help. It needs to like either punch through death blow or block or something like that, and it doesn't do that yet, but it's okay. Solo's a very good move. You get to move around, stuff like that, but you get speed, dodge, you know, defensive stuff, and you can also set combo when this is upgraded. Playout is kind of underwhelming in terms of effect, but it still moves your team around, and that's never bad. Being able to move someone without taking their turn to move them is really good. So part of the reason I value Jester so highly is a lot of his moves don't do great individual damage. So you have Fade to Black and Razor's Wit doing like 3 to 6 and then 4 to 7 or whatever it is. His damage isn't that strong, so it's okay to spend his turn sacrificing like, you know, an average of like 4 or 5 damage to do other stuff for other people. Like putting Battle Ballad on Leper and moving him back into position is worth the 3 to 6 damage you're already losing from using one of these. So that's very helpful. And so Jester doesn't trade too much when he helps the team. And then you have Encore. This move is disgusting. Like, this is one of the best moves in the entire game. And the reason I like this move so much is that it is a playmaking move. So you get to do things like, I believe you can shorten your cooldowns, you can get people through stuns if they're stunned, you know, like a turn earlier. You give them free turns so they don't die to burn or something like that, and they can heal afterwards. It's absolutely nuts. It's very strong. And I don't know what this copy pause is happening right now. Anyway, if it bleeds is comparable to Howling End, people just don't like. It's much worse, but not much so. Amazing copy pasta. It's an occultist one. Jeez Louise. But Echoing March is not great. So I think this might be better later, but it's not that good right now just because there aren't too many targets that it's like worth dropping on instead of just like killing stuff. Sub only copy pasta. For $5 you could also spam it. I think I'm gonna leave Leper. I'm gonna leave Leper in B. It's tough. Like, if I didn't have the restrictions on like only 2 characters per tier or something like that, I would 100% put Leper in A. So just for the record, he's like honorary A tier. But Leper, the damage on Chop doesn't get high enough to warrant the blind and stuff like that, which sucks. But otherwise, like, the tank kit on this dude is insane. So you have Withstand to just, you know, survive a bunch of punishment. You have Intimidate to get more taunt tokens. You have Solemnity, which is just an incredible stress or self-heal, I should say. So it's very hard to kill this character. Like, there's really no mega negative to him besides the fact that he blinds himself so consistently, and he can start the fight with 2 blind tokens, which is absolutely bad. It is not fun. So he's got other good stuff too. I should probably actually open like the thing here. So like I said, Chop is okay upgraded, but it'd be nicer if it was like 8 to 16. Purge is still pretty good. Withstand's amazing. Solemnity's amazing. Reflection's okay. Hue I haven't played enough with, but I've heard it's good. Revenge is okay. Intimidate's good. Ruin is pretty much a boss killer. Break should not blind you. I don't understand why this does. It just shouldn't do that. And Bash is actually pretty good. So this helps you like ping off your own blind tokens if you need to, or you can like daze enemies and stuff like that. So it's good. Do I just put him in A anyway? Do we just scrap the restriction for like 2 tiers? I think so. That feels better. Gotta use the swap in windows. Alright, so we're gonna leave Leper in A. Man-at-Arms also A. So we're gonna go back to the screen. Jumping around. So Man-at-Arms, Crush got nerfed. This was the most devastating move in the entire game. So that's why it got nerfed. It's just like Crush was really limiting the design space for Darkest Dungeon. Rampart is solid. Defender's okay. Bolster is the second best stress heal right now. Holding the line, don't always press this, but there's some fights it's very good. Like, I don't want to spoil too much in this video, but for one boss specifically, one of the lair bosses, this move is very good for. Bellow can ping off tokens and stuff like that, or I should say dodge tokens, which is helpful. But otherwise, it's okay. Only a couple enemies. I can only think of like 2 enemies that can riposte. It's like the knights and then the goats. But I can't think of anything else that riposte. So this doesn't really get too much value in terms of that, but it's okay. Retribution Plus is going to get nerfed. Mark my words. Like, this move, baseline is okay. This move upgraded is absolutely filthy. You can get your block stack going, and then you're basically attacking twice for 1 button, while also protecting most of your team. So it's pretty good. Command is kind of a sleeper move that's actually pretty good. Being able to clear blind is very nice. Like I was saying before, there are a lot of ways to get blinded in this game, and so this helps you deal with that. It also gives you strength on top. The upgrade, I believe, removes the cooldown, So if if Man-at-Arms ever gets blinded or weakened or something like that, he can still use command and still do stuff. Stand fast is okay, but this is only really good if you're running Courageous Abandon. Otherwise, you might just spam Defender. But it's still nice. You get a lot of extra blocks. So if you're getting attacked a lot, this kind of like overblocks you. Like, you can only get 2 block tokens, but like it ensures that you're constantly getting a stream of block, which is nice. Courageous Abandon is it's too much work for what you get, because this realistically needs 3 turns to set up. Like, you need to get your block stacks and your block plus stacks going and hope that they don't hit you, and then you get to deck the person in the front spot for like 20 damage. It can obviously do more than that, especially if you set up and stuff like that. It can hit very hard, but it's not worth it in most cases. Like, when I was trying to make this build work, I had more fun and just better results using Stand Fast like Retribution Plus than I did setting this up, but that's just me. Strategic Withdrawal is another move that can combo without upgrade, which is very helpful. And then when you upgrade this heals you. So he does have access to a self-heal when he's a Death Door, which is nice. You don't have to pass your turn instead. So overall, Man-at-Arms he's got some higher tempo stuff this time around in terms of like Retribution Plus, and he has like consistent damage mitigation for himself and the team through either guarding and block generation. And then you can also spam commands. So he's got a lot of interesting stuff, and then Crush can hit rank 3. So pretty helpful stuff here. I think A is pretty fair for him. Occultist is a B tier character. So he's got a lot of good stuff going for him. But the way, I think it's kind of like the metagame thing, honestly. With the way stuff kind of shapes out in terms of like how battles go and stuff, it means that Occultist gets a bit weaker. So Occultist, or I should say, the way the metagame kind of is the game is really centered around like how fast your team can get through a road fight for the most part, because that's kind of what you run into the most. And Occultist needs some time to set up his damage, and he's a support unit, and it's usually better to just kill enemies quicker. But we have Sacrificial Stab, which is pretty good. You get, unchecked on combo, which is nice. Artillery is a very strong move this time around. It's worth upgrading. It does a lot of damage. This, alongside Plague Doctor, can go through most backlines in like 2 turns if you hit this in like Plague Grenade. Weakening Curse, I believe combos at upgrade. If I'm wrong, someone please tell me. But like being able to use 2 weaken tokens or leave 2 weaken tokens on someone is actually pretty nice, because there are some enemies where it's like, Deacon is an example where it's nice to just shut him down or at least weaken him for a bit, because like you can use Leper or Man-at-Arms up front to like generate block through something, and then use Weakening Curse on top of that, and then suddenly Exaltation, is it Exaltation? I can't remember. I don't remember how hard Exaltation is, but regardless, those big damage moves are suddenly doing like nothing, which is kind of nice, besides like the secondary effects. Weird Reconstruction is still kind of a meme heal. It's really just like a panic button, and it's nice when it gets big value, but it doesn't always get big value. And so this move will never be that strong of a heal until you can heal someone from half HP. If you cannot do that, this move will not be a very strong heal. Instead, it's just gonna be kind of like a weaker heal that you throw in at the end of a fight and hope people survive, or you have Runaway and you're just, okay with them bleeding. Daemon's Pull is another move that combos without upgrade, which is very nice, and it clears Corpse, which Corpse Destruction is very good in this game because every single region has at least one enemy that can interact with corpses. So in the Sprawl, it's Immolatist, and the Feder, it's everyone for the most part, except for like Butchers and Goats. And then in the Tangle, the Bishop can resurrect them. So being able to destroy corpses is very helpful. Vuln Hex is almost like Tracking Shot in some regards, because it just peels off all the dodge, but then it contributes to damage by vulning the enemy. So it's kind of like they're similar in that regard, and I don't like Tracking Shot, but I like this, so make that what you will. But I think what makes this stand out also is that Occultist is a support character and Highwayman's a damage dealer. I do not want to be spending damage dealer turns not killing enemies or setting up to kill enemies. Tracking shot kind of does that, but at that point, it's better to just ping them off. You know, no one generates more than like 2 block in a turn or something, or not block, dodge. So being able to block dodge from someone is not as important. Finding shadows is pretty good. We were talking about this. I wish this was like 100% chance to get unchecked power, but it's not. Malediction is still bad. Like it's still okay on bosses, I'd imagine, but it's not a road fight move, which is unfortunate. Then we have Anamnesis, which full team cleave. This isn't really good in boss fights, but this is good. It's okay in like road fights and stuff like that, but the issue with this character is always going to be around burning stars, at least right now. Because if you're going to generate multiple unchecked power tokens, why are you spending them on burning stars instead of... Or why are you not spending them on burning stars? Why are you spending 2 on Malediction when you can use burning stars? Why are you spending 2 on Anamnesis when you can use burning stars? The only other like comparable thing to spend unchecked power on that's actually pretty solid is double stunning enemies with Artillery Plus. Chaotic Offering is a necessary evil. It's okay. It's consistent and guaranteed unchecked power, which is what makes it good. We should be pretty close, right? We got like 2 more. Okay. Plague Doctor. She's like between B and A. I'm gonna put her in B for now and then just see. Let's see how we feel. Plague Doctor. Consistent damage over time. What makes her like as good as she even is, it comes down to 2 things. It comes down to the game not having really any other dedicated rank 4 hero besides her, and indiscriminate science. PD and B. She was an A, like going back and forth, so we're still figuring it out. But Noxious is okay, consistent damage. Blinding Gas actually isn't that good this time around because in the first game, Plague Doctor is one of the fastest characters, so going first and stunning the backline is very helpful. But there aren't too many backline enemies you want to stun or blind this time. Stunning them was very helpful. Like if this stunned again, it'd be very good. But who, like, do you care about blinding cherubs? I don't, you know, for the most part. Blinding Bishop is okay. Blinding Immolatus maybe, but that's about it. Blinding Sacrificial, and then it runs up and like doesn't hit you maybe. That's kind of fun, but that's about it. But Incision, good this time around. I didn't realize it was 10 crit too. Why is this 10? This should be 5. This should be 5 crit. Like, don't even at me. This should be 5 freaking crit. This should not be 10. But I'll take it. I'll take it for now. Battlefield Medicine it's a good move. Cry about it. Battlefield Medicine's a good move. This is a consistent heal. It cures dot and stuff like that, so it's good. Ounce of Prevention. No one has pressed this. Like I talked to John Redhook, and he said that no one has pressed Ounce of Prevention since it got nerfed. Like literally no one has pressed this button. So it's just bad. Like this should at least buff debuff resist at this point, because healing 1 stress when everyone's at 5 every 3 turns isn't great. Getting 10% resist is just average. Like this could start at 15 and go to 25 or something like that. You know, like if I'm gonna spend a turn trying to do prevention, like let me at least prevent everything that's happening. Source, trust me, pretty much. I'm lying? I'm not lying. You're lying, chat. You're lying to yourselves, thinking this move's any good. Alright, Plague Grenade it's actually okay. And I feel all of the D1 Plague Doctor mains rejoicing, because I spent, 2 years talking about you press Blinding Gas first, and now in this game you press Plague Grenade first. We've come full circle, and the reason is because road fights are damage races, and this is a damage racing move. So you need to press this in most turn 1s in most fights. So the damage is not stellar, but it's enough to deal with most things. The only place this loses in is the fetter. That's just because there's size 2 enemies in the back, like Lord and Dinner Cart, so this gets worse. But otherwise, outside of that, Pretty good. Emboldening Vapors, it's alright. This gives speed when upgraded instead of crit. I wish it gave crit, but I understand why. Disorienting Blast, this is another move that no one presses. This move is just bad. There's no corpse destruction, which would be nice. 25% chance for a weakened token. Like, why isn't this just guaranteed? Like, make this guaranteed, please. I don't know what they're afraid of by not making this a guaranteed weaken. Because you still have to get through debuff resist. And then that's when it applies it. But this also stuns when upgraded, which is okay. I think this is, again, Red Hook being very cautious about giving the player access to stuns. So. Alright, we got this move. Indiscriminate Science. This move is why you take this character now. Like, it's nice that she's a rank 4 character that can do stuff, but this move, when upgraded, can cleanse negative tokens, and the enemy likes to really stack a lot of negative tokens on you. There's certain fights that do this, like one of the lair bosses. The mechanic, it puts a negative token on you that can be cleansed by this, so that's infinitely helpful. When you hit Death Store and stuff like that, your character has a chance to get 2 stacks of Weaken, and this can get rid of the Weaken and then heal them for even more. Characters like Man-at-Arms using Retribution Plus, or Leper with Withstand and stuff like that, any character, or Highwayman and Take Aim, any character that can generate a large amount of tokens in like one turn can turn that into healing from Indiscriminate Science. So this move is 100% getting nerfed at some point. It's very good. It is very, very, very good. This is the prime reason to take Plague Doctor. So Cause of Death is kind of meme tier. It's a good boss killer, but it only like kills one boss. No, it kills. There are a couple enemies that can kill, and size 2s. It does pretty good against those, but if the boss has multiple actions, this gets worse. And in road fights, this might be too slow. Besides size 2 enemies, it's okay. I don't like that you can't use this from 4. I understand why, but I wish you could use it from 4. And I also wish it ignored dodge and blind. I don't know. That's the other thing too. You can just get hit by blind and this gets shut down. Or the enemy gets dodged and this gets shut down. Then you have to spend a turn getting rid of dodge, and then you're losing damage over time value. Heals are limited this time around. Red Hook, yeah. Heals are limited this time around, except this game, except this button, which can heal every other turn. Magnesium Rain is corpse destruction. It's a solid move. It's not broken. So if this move isn't doing 1 damage to everything, then it's not broken, because that's not checking death blow or removing block. But being able to hit everything and take off dodge is kind of nice. All right, I think we have one more. But I think Plague Doctor, she's between B and A. I don't quite know where she'd land. We have Runaway, who is our last character. She's going into C. I was going to put her next to Grave Robber when I was doing like the 2 characters per tier thing, but everyone's like, please don't. Please do not put Grave Robber next to Runaway. So Runaway has utility. So a lot of people think this character is bad. She's not bad. She's very far from bad. She has a lot of utility, but the main issue with Runaway is she doesn't have damage. The game is very damage racy in certain points, and Runaway cannot damage race. So Searing Strike is worse incision. It's less burn damage, less crit. Firefly should be usable for rank 2. Smokescreen Plus is insane. That move is very good. Smokescreen baseline is okay. Run and Hide is not a good move. Hearthlight's okay when upgraded. Like right now, just, baseline, it just pings off everyone's dodge, which is okay. We have S tier, not Grave Robber tier, and Grave Robber tier, pretty much. Ransack is just bad. Like, the whole purpose of this move is to, like, just move you, basically. You can't use it out of 4, which I wish you could. Oh, Echo, you broke my desk! Sorry about that. So yeah, Ransack not hitting out of rank 4 kind of sucks, and it's very low damage for something that's pretty much a utility skill. And the only reason I even slot this is because I'm trying to use Dragonfly, which is actually a pretty good move. So if I didn't have to worry about moving out of position with Dragonfly and stuff like that, I would just use Searing Strike. Like, turn 1 Dragonfly, turn 2 Searing Strike, and just spam this whole fight. That might be okay. Cauterize is a very good move. The only issue is you can't use it out of 4. I expect that to change by the end of early access, just because it feels so bad not being able to do it, especially because Runaway's like aesthetic and stuff like that is about being mobile and running. You know, she has a move called Run and Hide, and that theme is kind of also in her lore shrines, which I'm not going to spoil directly. So her best spot in the team being rank 2, which is right here, is very odd. And so Cauterize kind of makes that even worse. If you could use Cauterize from 4, you could have a rank 4 character. Like, you could, sort of. It'd still be kind of clunky, huh? Like, you'd have, Cauterize, Firefly, Run and Hide, like Firestarter, and then Hearthlight. Still kind of weak. I don't know, this character really needs to be up front, which is kind of crappy. But the reason Cauterize is good is because Bleed is in every zone. It is a very common damage over time type. Like Bandits can appear anywhere, or I should say Pillagers. They have Bleed, but Butcher has Bleed. The Tangle has a lot of Bleed. The Sprawl has Bleed on a couple attacks. So Bleed is common, and being able to Cauterize that is very nice. It also makes Occultist a better healer. So you have a chance of bleeding your own teammates, but then you can Cauterize it to get it off, which is pretty cool. And so, like, you can enable Cauterize just from Weird Reconstruction. Controlled Burn kind of sucks. Thick was telling me that, like, if a corpse hits the controlled burn spot or something like that, it gets rid of the token, which is very odd. So, oh, Cultist too. Cultist can bleed as well. So there you go. Cultists appear everywhere. Dragonfly is a very good move. Upgraded, this does 4 burn instead of 3, which is very strange, but it hits very hard in terms of, like, damage over time at that point. So I do like those Dragonfly openers. So this is just a solid move. This is a reason to put Runaway into rank 1 to start the fight and just Dragonfly on turn 1. Firestarter is really good. This gets a lot more value from certain attacks. Like Firestarter with Abyssal Artillery, if you want to keep the Occultist synergy, is very strong. Firestarter with Plague Grenade is very good. So anything that can ramp damage quickly is pretty nice. And there's also some fun interactions like Firestarter and Bellow. So you're like Fire Breathing Grandpa, which is fun. And this is a nice move to have because this gives damage from a character that doesn't have good damage. So the ability to just put damage on your teammates who are better equipped to use that damage is nice. So Firestarter is a really good move. You can also use it from anywhere, which is pretty good. Backdraft is only good in like one specific situation that I was told about, and I'm not going to spoil that. So Backdraft takes too much setup. The Librarian Trophy helps this a lot more than it used to be. Because without the Librarian Trophy, you only had 2 sources of burn. You had Runaway and Malediction, and then like items, so I guess 3 sources. And you're not guaranteed to get the items, and Malediction's not guaranteed to burn. So having this get set up is pretty hard, but now having the Librarian Trophy makes that a lot easier. We'll see if it's good, who knows, but right now it still seems kind of not great. So I think that's everyone, right? So this is our first tier list. We'll, you know, when there are more characters added or like a major, I think we're gonna wait till like another character comes in and they like balance some of the heroes before I do another one of these. But it was pretty cool to do this, so I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it too. Thanks to chat for hanging out on Twitch, because it was actually kind of fun to collaborate and do this live. And, you know, I didn't get like 5 viewers like I was expecting, so very cool. Thank you everyone for hanging out. And let me know what you're thinking down below. And, you know, we'll come back to this. And then I don't have any other video previews right now besides like, I'm going to put up some VODs. I'm going to do like some Infernal Torchless VODs. I'm going to do a video talking about the Infernal Torch at some point, probably next week. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.